So I, Wallace Sampson, being the acting returning officer at the election for the Member of Parliament for the Harrogate and Knaresborough constituency on Thursday the 8th of June 2017, do hereby give notice that the number of votes recorded for each candidate at the said election is as follows: Flynn Helen Catherine, Liberal Democrats, 13,309. Fraser Donald George, Independent, 559. Jones Andrew Hanson, the Conservative Party candidate, 31,477. Seawards Mark James, Labour Party, 11,395. There were a total of 139 spoiled ballot papers, a turnout of 74%, and I do hereby declare that Jones Andrew Hanson is duly elected.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This election has been overshadowed by the terrible terrorist attacks that we have seen in Manchester and London, and in the face of such awful incidents, people across the country have come together to show support for the victims and their families. I think that has demonstrated the best of British. People from our community have been involved, and that has brought home the horror, and our thoughts are with them. Now, this has been an election of some surprises, and I think it will require much analysis. It has certainly been very hard to predict. But I'm deeply honoured to have the trust placed in me once again by the people of this area. It is a great honour to represent your home area at the highest possible level, and I will work to repay that trust. I will work to build upon the progress that we have made over the past few years, to work to improve the connectivity of our area, to maintain the strength of our economy, and to make our area one of the most friendly in the country for people suffering from dementia. Now, of course, we'll be facing some huge decisions over the next few years on a national basis, and I will make sure that the voice of Harrogate, Knaresborough and Boroughbridge is heard loud and clear during that process. I'd like to finish with some thanks. I'd like to thank the returning officer and all the team at the council, the elections team and the counting officers. These elections here run very smoothly, and I know from experience just what a good team they are. I'd like to also thank the police for their work in keeping us safe, and to my campaign team as a whole for all of their work. But within that, I would like to thank Richard Cooper for his local leadership, Don Mackenzie for his campaigning zeal and organisation, and Agent Sam Gibbs for making it all happen. But my main thanks, of course, are to the people of Harrogate and Knaresborough, to our community for their trust in me. It is humbling to have it, and I will work constantly to repay it. Thank you.
I'd like first to thank my team. We've had a marvellous team this time. We've had about 100 new volunteers, and it's been wonderful to welcome them and have them on board. But I'd particularly like to thank several individuals who have really helped me lead this campaign. And the first one of those is my agent, Peter Flynn, who's also my long-suffering husband, and Pat Marsh, who has been absolutely fantastic and inspirational, Angela Hosey, who's been working very hard behind the scenes, and Ian Thompson, who is State Board Extraordinaire. I think we've all seen his magnificent work across the constituency. There's just a couple of things I'd like to say, really. We're all seeing the results coming in tonight, and I don't think Theresa May is getting her way. and we'll just have to see what happens in the final analysis. My sincere hope is that the result of tonight will be that she cannot go after the hard Brexit that she's been saying she will go after, and the incredibly irresponsible and reckless announcement of no deal being better than a bad deal would be a total disaster for our country, and I hope that sense does prevail. Finally, I'd like to point out what The Economist said this week in endorsing our manifesto and saying that everyone who's voted Liberal Democrat is making a down payment for the future. I firmly believe that liberalism is the future. It is why I campaign for liberal values, and I expect to see similar results in maybe 5-10 years' time in our country as we're seeing now in places like Canada, the Netherlands and France. So thanks again everyone, it's been a great campaign and well done to Andrew. Thank you.
Good evening everybody, I'm Mark Sewards and I was the Labour candidate for Harrogate and Knaresborough. I want to start by thanking the polling staff tonight, the counting staff, for their professionalism and getting this job done very, very quickly. I want to thank all of those that have manned polling stations today and have made sure that everybody got out to vote. And above all, I would like to thank the police and the security services for keeping us safe today in the wake of some terrible tragedies that we've had to deal with over the past couple of weeks. I'd like to thank the candidates for running a very good campaign. And while I cannot wish Andrew well politically, I do wish him well and the very best of luck in representing his constituents to the best of his ability. Now, a few words on Labour. My team that came out in this election over the last 5 weeks have done tremendous work in Harrogate and Knaresborough. We have taken the Labour vote from 2015 and we have doubled it. We have increased our vote share by a huge amount. From this point forth, Labour voters in Harrogate and Knaresborough will be able to vote Labour. There will be no more need for tactical voting. You will be able to vote with your conscience in Harrogate and Knaresborough. And this election is not the end for us, it is the beginning. We will continue to campaign here every week of the year until we win the trust of Harrogate and Knaresborough voters, and so that we can win elections for Labour in Harrogate and Knaresborough. So thank you again tonight. Thank you to the 11,000 people that voted for me, and trust us, we will be back. Thank you.